here's a project for if you have some extra time while you are practicing learning how to sew. First of all, you are going to have two pieces of fabric. They are 5 inches by 5 inches, so a 5-inch square. And I have sandwiched the pretty sides on the inside. We're actually going to be flipping them inside out in a little bit, so that's why you want to make sure that you have them with the pretty sides to the inside. You want to line up your edges best that you can. If they aren't perfectly lined up, not too big a deal. You can trim this a little bit to make it work. Otherwise, you can leave it. Then you're going to take a pen or a marker, and you're going to make 2 little marks on the side of your project. Step 2 of your project is going to be to sew. So you're going to take your coaster, and you're going to put your fabric so that it's close to that dot that you made. And you're going to line it up against one of the lines on your, this is called the throat plate. And so I'm just going to choose the 2 line on this sewing machine. You could use the 10 line on one of the older sewing machines. And you're going to put it so the needle is close to wherever your dot is. And then, as always, you have to remember to put the presser foot down. Now, to start sewing, you're going to take a few stitches. You have to do your back stitch. So we're going to go back a couple stitches to lock it in. Then we're going to start going forward. So in each corner of your project, you want to try to keep on that line best that you can. And then you also want to get as close to the space over here as you are on this side. So I'm sewing at a 2. I want there to be about the space that there is on the 2 line on this side. I'm going to plant my needle into the fabric so that I can lift my presser foot and pivot. And then luckily I'm close to that 2 line over here. So I'm just going to drop my presser foot again, and then I'm just going to go down this edge, following whatever line I end up on. So I actually ended up on the 1 line. That's fine. I'm just going to follow that best that I can until I get to my next corner, where I'm going to get about to the length of a 2, and then plant my needle, lift the presser foot, turn the corner again. Once again, whatever line you end up on here, just follow it. Okay, so I'm closer to the 5/8 fraction at the top, so that's what I'm going to follow. And then sew down this whole edge. And we're getting close to another corner, so as with all the other corners, you get close to where you want to be, plant your needle, lift the presser foot, spin it in a square again, follow whatever line it is that you end up on again. Okay, now we're getting close to where we had that blue dot here. So you want to come so that you're about to that same length from the edge of the fabric again, plant your needle, lift the presser foot, and now you're only going to stitch until you get to this blue dot this time. So don't keep stitching around in a circle to finish off the square, because you won't have anywhere to flip your project inside out. So just go up to that blue dot that you made, and then do your lock stitch again, back stitch so that it locks it in, and then lift your needle and take your project off. Step 3 is to clip your corners and flip it inside out. So if you look here, you're going to notice that I have quite a bit of fabric in this corner. When we flip it inside out, if we leave all this fabric here, you're going to end up with a very sloppy looking corner. So we want a definite point when we flip it. So you're going to take and go underneath and cut across the corner of your project, being careful not to cut your stitches. So if you see here, I still have my stitches, so I'm just cutting the corners where the fabric is extra but not my actual stitches. Okay, and you do that in all 4 corners. Once you get all 4 corners clipped, you want to find that opening that you left, and you're going to flip your project inside out so that you pull the pretty sides to the outside of your project, and then flatten it out when you're finished. After you get your fabric flipped inside out, you kind of want to poke out these corners best that you can. You want to just fold the fabric that you had left over from the inside just kind of down. It should kind of stick to itself. Then you're going to start on your sewing. So you're going to take your coaster and you want to start it where you have that opening to make sure that you get it completely shut. So what I like to do is start by lining up my edge of my fabric with my edge of my presser foot. And then instead of following a line, this time I'm going to be following the edge of my presser foot. So I'm going to start on this particular step. You can backstitch or you can choose not to. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to backstitch to start it. And then I'm going to sew down this whole edge so that I get the edges of my my coaster, the opening, sewed down. I'm going to sew close to the corner. Once again, we're practicing pivoting. So plant your needle, lift the presser foot, spin, and then you can pretty much make whatever design you want. I like to make squares, so I just start continuing to follow along the edge of my presser foot. And I'm going to do that all the way around my project. Just a series of squares, and I will show you what it looks like when it gets done. After you have made your outside border around the outside of your coaster, you can pretty much do whatever design on the inside that you want. It's kind of hard to see it at the moment, but if you look here, you get to stitch a design on top. So this one I put triangles on. This one I did a bunch of boxes, round and round. This one I made like a swirly. I started in one corner and just kept going. So you can pretty much put in whatever design that you want.